This is the Transformers Collaborative Knight Rider X Transformers Autobot Agent Knight. Went ahead and picked this guy up at my local Toy Kingdom store for 65 bucks. The packaging looks great, but unfortunately the packaging is made of very, very flimsy cardboard. It took me a while to find one that didn't have any dings or dents. Let's get this guy out of packaging. And here is the Knight Rider Agent Knight out of the box. And boy, this figure is just full of 80s nostalgia, especially, you know, for guys like us who really grew up in the 80s. Oh man, this figure just hits a lot of the nostalgic feels. I wasn't completely impressed with the figure. I do have some issues with it. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new collaborative Transformers Knight Rider Agent Knight.
Knight Rider, shadowy flight of the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Michael Knight, young loner on a crusade, championed the cause of the innocent, helpless, the powerless, world of criminals who operate above the law.
Those of you who grew up in the 80s watching the show is about this guy, Michael Knight. He's actually, it was some guy who was shot in the face, so he was actually reborn into a new identity, and he was sort of like a PI agent, private investigator, and he would solve the injustices anywhere where he went, much like MacGyver, but he did it in a high-tech way. And the big thing about this show is the car. The car is called K.I.T.T, and it actually talks. It drives on its own. It's got a ton of features. It's called K.I.T.T, K-I.T.T, because it's an acronym for Knight Invention 2000 by the Knight Foundation. For those of you who watch the show, you know, apart from talking and doing all these computations, the car flies. He's got this turbo boost. Michael Knight would just press that button, and it would send the car flying, and it would overtake. I don't really know how it stopped cars or the criminals from getting away, but it just looks so cool back in the 80s. A car that actually shot up and flew over the other cars, and it was a thing back in the day. I know it's gonna sound really corny if you try to look for some episodes on YouTube. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 18 centimeters or about 7 1/8 inches tall. And here's everything that came with the figure. He comes with an AK-47, I should say. Cybertronian blaster that looks like an AK-47. You can hold it in either hand. He's got a smaller blaster pistol, although it kind of looks like, I don't know, something on Star Trek where you would, it's like a hypodermic needle injector. It would inject you with a serum, but it's supposed to be his pistol, like a smaller pistol. And then he comes with this. You're probably wondering, is this a Kamen Rider watch or a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger? No, this is actually a wristwatch. And why does this robot need a wristwatch? Because on the show, Michael Knight had a watch, and he would use it to call K.I.T.T. K.I.T.T, meet me at the roof. K.I.T.T, you gotta come get me. This is his communicator. Cell phones weren't a thing back then. Earpieces and Bluetooth weren't a thing back then. But using your watch as a communicator was actually pretty high-tech cool. So yeah, that was the thing. So that's why he has a watch, okay? Okay, as far as the figure goes, he's probably about Voyager class scaled. Pretty big. I think he's in the same scale as the other collaborative, like the Ectotron and maybe the Jurassic Park figures. This figure kind of reminds me of why I stopped buying these figures, but I just couldn't resist the nostalgia that this figure brings. Okay, you probably noticed that I've been fidgeting with this figure, and one of the things I did notice was part of the transformation, the engineering on the chest. This thing just loves to pop off. It will not stay locked in. Tell me if you have this figure, does your figure have the same issue? Because I've been trying my darndest to just tab it in, because instructions tell you just lock it in. It kind of stays, but after playing with him for a while, you try to pose him, it just loves to pop off. And that is probably one of the most annoying thing about this figure. It certainly might be a deal breaker for me. The figure has some premium pieces. The torso, the legs, the arms are premium. But some of the black pieces like this torso, like this piece. Pretty cheap feeling. The wheels do feel cheap. The clear plastic looks very premium. I love the high gloss finish of this black paint here. I wish they could have painted the rest of the black pieces with this because it just doesn't match. Look at this. It's just dull and unpolished. This one is so shiny. It really pissed me off. I mean, I'm sorry. I was really expecting a lot with this figure, especially from the promo pics, but it's not entirely cheap. Craptastic quality plastic, but there are a lot of cheap pieces like this, and there are a lot of very premium pieces. So I don't know what to make of it. Also, the colors of his upper legs and waist. I don't know what that's all about. I can't remember Michael Knight wearing gray and blue pants. Maybe it's supposed to be his jeans. I knew he wore a black jacket all the time, a black leather jacket, but this, I guess, is supposed to resemble his jeans. Blue jeans, I don't know. And then his head sculpt. I actually thought the head sculpt was actually pretty good. The head sculpt it looks like he's wearing a helmet, and I think that's what it is. And he's wearing some goggles or shades. But it's supposed to be, I think, from the way it looks, it's supposed to depict the long hair of Michael Knight, of David Hasselhoff, and his shades. So, I don't know. He kind of looks funny, but I do get it. I do get why they try to give him a helmet. So it's actually pretty cool. Okay, the wings do stay here in robot mode. He does look a lot like Jazz, especially also in transformation. But I think it looks better if you fold the wings down like this. So the aesthetic would look a lot like how Michael Knight looked like on the show. He's just wearing like a black jacket. And yeah, without the wings. I thought that's a better look for him. He's got this panel right here on his crotch that really doesn't do anything, not even part of the transformation. I guess it's just to depict if he's excited, he sees some ladies passing by and admiring his car. That's probably what it's for. As far as articulation goes, he's got a ball jointed neck. It's on a hinge because of transformation. He's got a waist swivel. The shoulders go in and out, rotate forward and backward 360 because it is on a ball joint. But it's got a hinge right here because of transformation. Biceps are on swivels. He's got a hinge elbow. Wrists are on swivels. Hips are on hinges that do the splits, go in and out, forward and backward. Thigh swivel. Hinge knees. The feet have rocker tilts. Bit of toe articulation because of transformation. Again, up and down of the feet because of transformation. As far as paint apps go, where there's paint, it's actually pretty good. No quality issues. But like I said earlier, this high gloss black finish is probably the best thing about this thing. Paint apps wise, should have painted the rest of the car bits with this. Had they done that, this would have been an excellent super figure. On his chest, you've got the Autobot faction logo, so I guess he's an Autobot. He's not a mercenary or anything like that. As far as hollow places go, there's not a lot. The arms have been kept solid. Legs, sure, it's hollow because of transformation, but the thighs, you can see a lot of solid pieces. So well done. I'm glad they didn't cut corners on that. Man, this thing is so annoying. It will not stay on. Did I just get a quality issue? I mean, I'm pretty used to getting quality defects by now from Hasbro, but it is so annoying. Okay, so he can hold his weapons on either hand. And then if you want to store it in robot mode, you can just hang it right here on his wings. This one just will fit. It'll fit on either side, but the instructions tell you to put the smaller pistol here, larger blaster there. You can swap them, obviously. It's not going to be an issue. For some size comparisons, here he is with Voyager class Studio Series 86 Ironhide and Legacy United 5-pack Deluxe class Jazz, where the engineering, I think, is they got the engineering from. And this one's a bit of a shock. Here he is with the Commander class Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, as well as the Voyager class, now Leader class Legacy United. This is the Dramatic Capture Series Nemesis Bridge Soundwave. So this one's Voyager, this one's Commander, so he's somewhere in between. Does that make him a Leader class figure? I really thought it was going to be, he was like a Voyager class scaled figure. So transformation, set the weapons off to the side. You want to do, let's do the legs first. Okay, go ahead and unfold these panels right here. Go ahead and fold down the toes. You want to go ahead and fold the feet up like this. You want to rotate that waist. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and fold up. Very straightforward. kind of like Prowl, the Prowl mold, Earthrise Prowl mold, or Jazz. Okay, so then you connect, combine everything together, and then you close the panels back. Once you've folded everything flush, it should look like that. Okay, now this one, just untap. I mean, it's gonna easily unpeg. It is annoying. Okay, the instructions tell you to rotate the head this way and fold like that. I do think it's a lot easier to flip out the head if it's facing down like this. I don't think it will affect transformation. It's a lot easier to flip it out like that. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Then what you need to do is this panel right here. To form the bonnet, you unpeg it and then fold it up like that just to complete the bonnet. And then straighten out the doors, and then the roof is going to slide underneath the legs, and that should form majority of the car. And now for the arms, you want to rotate the biceps 90 degrees, fold the arms this way and put them at an angle. It's a lot easier to fold the shoulders in. You see that small tab right there? It's going to slot onto that peg hole. Same thing here. And then the arms are going to tab onto the torso, the inner torso piece. And finally, all that's left is really to close the doors. Just close them up. Just align the roof and the doors, and there you go. There is Agent Knight, the Knight Rider, in his car mode. And yeah, he rolls very nicely. Yeah, even the wheels, they look like how it looked like on the show, although the right front wheel on my copy has a bit of a quality issue with the paint. If you look at the rims, there's some smudging. That's from the black paint. It's a nice high gloss black finish on the rims. Everything looks to be okay. All the other wheels look okay, except for this one. It is a shame. Yeah, that is annoying. But yeah, and this is where the nostalgia factor comes in. Oh my goodness. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, that thing is gonna be playing in your head if you grew up on the show and you have this car. Okay, you tab the weapons in right there, and I guess you could keep the wristwatch on, but the instructions tell you, I don't know if you. Let me see if it stays on even in car mode. Yeah, I suppose it is. Is it gonna scrape? Yeah, it clears by a millimeter or two. So okay, fine, you can keep your wristwatch on. So yeah, very, very cool. Let's do some size comparisons. Here he is with Voyager class Cyclonus. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this one gives credence to my theory that it is a Voyager class scaled figure. And if you want to see him with a regular size deluxe class car, here he is with Kingdom War for Chefatron Trilogy Sideswipe. So yeah, he's a pretty big car. So the car mode has a couple of features. First up are the pop-up headlights. I thought this was a pretty cool, interesting feature they added. They didn't have to do that, but to make it realistic. Wow, pop-up headlights. Back in the 80s, that was a thing. And you'll notice there's a button right here, and that's because this figure actually has electronics. Here is the control box, or the electronics box. Okay, so you need a small screwdriver to unscrew the panel. I haven't done this. This is the first time I'm putting some batteries on this figure. So we're gonna find out if I got a defective product. You get some LR44 or A76 batteries. These are these button-like batteries. Small type of battery. It's easy to find. Okay. That's the sound I was talking about. I can't even copy it. Pretty cool. Is that it? One more.
I am the voice of Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor, K.I.T.T for easy reference. KIT if you prefer.
Hey, they even got the voice right.
Hold on, this could be a bit bumpy.
That's a super turbo boost. Then He would jump over the cars. It was like he would chase a car and then, Kit, let's do the turbo boost. Michael, I'm not prepared to do the turbo. Your power is not up. Just do it. He presses the button. And it would do it in slow motion. And then he would just land in front. And somehow he would stop the bad guys. I don't know how that happened. But, okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you're sure this is the right way? Very well. Thank you, sir. I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor, K.I.T.T for easy reference. KITT if you prefer. Hold on, this could be a bit bumpy.
There was a time in the 80s, and I think early 90s, they still had the actual car at Universal Studios, and you could actually ride it. I went to Universal Studios when I was a kid, and I did see the car. I was so giddy. It was such a treat, and it really made the sound, everything. It did everything except the turbo boost, obviously. But they did try to reboot the show back in 2008. Was it 2008? Oh, sorry. Seventh Voice. 2008, I think. They tried to reboot it, but it was canceled after one season. It's a nice display diorama. You could put KITT right there, or Agent Knight and alt mode. And so some final thoughts on this Transformers collaborative Knight Rider Agent Knight. Well, the figure is definitely full of nostalgia. If you love the show and you love Transformers, this is an interesting figure to pick up. However, I think the only selling point that this figure has is his alt mode and the lights and sound features it has. It just takes you back to the 80s show, and I thought that they did a pretty good job with that. Thank you for putting the electronics in, the actual voice. It looks great in car mode, and that I love that the audio clips. It brings a lot of childhood memories. However, having said all that, I thought the robot mode was a bit lackluster. The engineering wasn't too great, especially the transformation of the torso. It just would not stay on. It just loves to pop off, and I don't know why. Let me know in the comments if your figure did that too. Stability wise and how solid the figure is, I thought it was a pretty solid figure. It's got a mix of semi-craptastic and really premium plastic. Paint apps are okay. There's some inconsistencies, maybe imperfections, especially on the wheels. That's a shame. But overall, if you're really into this pop culture 80s nostalgia, particularly the show, if you love watching the show and you love Transformers, you're going to love this figure. This is probably one of the better collaborative figures out there, and I'm probably being very biased because I hated the G.I. Joe figures. The Ghostbusters was, a little lackluster. I thought Gigawatt was pretty good, so this guy's probably in the same leagues as Gigawatt. But that chest really was a deal breaker for me, and I'm sorry, I'll have to give this figure an 8 out of 10. It's still a very, very nice figure, but I was probably just expecting way too much for this figure because of the nostalgia it carried, and I ended up being a little bit disappointed. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers collaborative Knight Rider Agent Knight. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.